Several Maynilad water customers in Las Piñas, Muntinlupa, Parañaque, and Cavite to experience water service interruptions until June 9. The Food and Drug Administration names 5 vinegar brands containing synthetic acetic acid. Government agencies signed the implementing rules and regulation of a new child protection law in conflict-stricken areas. And a student in Tanay Rizal walks for 3 hours, crosses 8 streams just to get to school. Good evening. Water concessionaire Maynilad will implement rotational water service interruptions in several areas in Las Piñas, Muntinlupa, Parañaque, and some towns in Cavite. Joanano tells us why.
Maynilad has no choice but to reduce the water production for their customers in the southern part of Metro Manila and Cavite. This due to the continuous proliferation of algae in Laguna Lake, where Maynilad gets their raw water supply from. Because of this, the water concessionaire will implement rotational water service interruption in several areas in Las Piñas, Muntinlupa, Parañaque, and Cavite. This is to prevent water contamination, Maynilad said.
So dahil dumami muli ang algae concentrations, nagkaroon ng panibagong pagbabara sa mga filter media namin sa treatment plants. So this has forced us to reduce production dahil kailangan na natin ng mas frequent na cleaning ng filters and at the same time intensified chemical dosages para ma-address yung pagdami ng algae sa Laguna Lake.
Susan Villarde, a resident of Barangay CAA in Las Piñas City, has begun to store water. Her barangay is among the areas covered by the water service interruption. She said she is also among those who suffered no water supply for several weeks.
Madaling araw na po nag-uumpisa po magkakaroon ng tubig. Parang tulo lang po ng kakapiranggot lang po magtsatsaga po kami na magsasalin po kami sa mga galon, sa mga yun lang po napupunan namin hanggang alas 6 po ng umaga kami nakakatapos sa pagpuno. Pasukan ng mga bata, may trabaho pong asawa ko po. Mahirapan naman po kami ng pag-iipon ng tubig.
According to Maynilad, around 170,000 water connections of their customers will be affected by the rotational water service interruption. For those who are residing in Las Piñas, several barangays will have no water supply from 6 a.m. to 4 a.m. While for those Maynilad customers in Muntinlupa, water supply interruption will happen from 4 a.m. to 5 p.m. Meanwhile, starting 1 a.m. until 2 p.m., several residents in Parañaque will experience no water supply. While in Cavite, rotational water service interruptions will happen in different schedules. The water service interruption will last until June 9. Maynilad assured that they are doing all the efforts to normalize the water supply on schedule, but they admitted that there are some inevitable factors that might affect the restoration of water supply.
Meron kasi tayong external factors na tinitingnan din. For instance, pag sabay-sabay nag-umpisa magbukas ng gripo ang ating mga customers upon supply resumption, kahit pa paano may impact yan dun sa mga areas na malalayo or yung matataas ng elevation. Kaya naapektuhan yung accuracy ng ating scheduled resumption of service.
To know the complete list of areas affected by the water service interruptions, visit Maynilad's social media accounts or call their hotline number and 1-800-1900-92837 for Maynilad customers in Cavite. Joanalo, UNTV News and Rescue, Las Piñas City.
The Food and Drug Administration says 5 brands of vinegar being sold in the country are made from synthetic acetic acid. Aiko Miguel tells us why.
After thorough examination and testing on 39 samples of vinegar sold in the local market, the Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, released this afternoon a list of 5 brands of vinegar the agency has proved to be made from synthetic acetic acid. According to FDA, the vinegar products positive of synthetic acetic acid are Sure-Buy cane vinegar, Tentay Pinoy style vinegar, Tentay premium vinegar, Tentay Sukang Tunay Asim, and Chef's Flavor Vinegar. Based on FDA Advisory Number 29-144, the said brands of vinegars must no longer be sold in markets and stores in the country. FDA officer in charge, Undersecretary Eric Domingo, reiterated that the presence of synthetic acetic acid is not a safety issue and does not pose any health risk to consumers, as this only means that the vinegar is of substandard quality. Domingo added that these vinegars did not undergo fermentation either through a slow process, quick process, or submerged culture process, which is used for commercial vinegar production.
Pinakikiusap nga natin sa atin mga kababayan kung bibili sila yung FDA registered lang, no? Kasi yung hindi FDA registered, hindi naman na namin hindi namin natitest yon, tsaka hindi na namin siya alam kung saan ang galing. Pag kasi FDA registered, at least alam natin kung nasaan yung factory, kung ano yung process na ginagawa nila, tsaka nag-submit sila ng ng documentation showing what they do and how they do it.
The FDA is also set to conduct inspections in vinegar manufacturing facilities.
Ino-notify muna natin sila, itong mga concerned manufacturers, para pwede na silang mag-voluntary pull out kanilang produkto. Pagkatapos noon, papa-explain natin sa kanila kung ano nangyari at kung bakit sila gumagamit ng synthetic acetic acid.
Appropriate regulatory action shall be imposed on non-compliant manufacturers found violating the FDA's current standards, rules, and regulations. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Demand for dormitories near school campuses will continue to be high this school opening month. Find out what things must be checked to determine if a dormitory building is safe from fire risks, as April Senadoza reports.
Many young people from different provinces choose to study in Metro Manila. That's why they prefer to look for dormitories near their school campuses. Aside from a comfortable bed and a clean comfort room, the dormitory must be safe from fire risks or any disasters. The Bureau of Fire Protection, or BFP, on Tuesday showed the safety and security features that a dormitory building should have. A dormitory building must be complete with fire safety evaluation clearances, fire safety inspection certificates for occupancy, and a business permit to ensure that it's fire-prone and has undergone inspection by the BFP. Fire sprinklers and emergency lights must be checked. Dormitory buildings with 4 stories or more are required to have fire hose cabinet.
Required na siya ng tinatawag na fire hose standpipe system. Wet standpipe system, dapat meron siyang tinatawag na fire hose cabinet. No? Meron siyang, may nozzle siya, may hose, may extinguisher din siya sa portion nila.
In case of a fire incident, dorm occupants must remember the term pass when using a fire extinguisher.
Pull the pin. Ito yung pin niya. This one. Ang problema, nakalaklagi yan. So pag pinul mo yan, hindi mo pupull yan commission. You have to twist para ma-break mo yung seal. Then when you pull the pin, and this is what we call the nozzle, and this is a lever. Kaya ito, meron nito, kahit anong gawin mo dyan, hindi mo siya mapipress. That is the protection. Then yung aim, yung pull the pin, yung aim the nozzle to the focal point ng fire.
Accessible fire escapes or fire exits must be present in a dormitory building.
Pag nandun ka sa kabila, hindi mo siya mabubuksan kasi kaya ang swing ng door is always in the direction of exit discharge, yung flow ng palabas. Kaya pag paloob yan, may problema yung door mo.
Aside from complete fire equipment, every room must have an evacuation plan for occupants to see the nearest fire exits in their area. Early warning devices, such as smoke detectors and a CCTV system, are also important. Having guards will also help to monitor people entering and leaving the dorm premises. Students are reminded not to rent dormitories immediately without asking consent from their parents.
Dormstay, di ba? So, ibig sabihin, situate na may tayong mga magulang, siguraduhin natin na yung dorm na pupuntahan natin, safe. Magtanong-tanong din tayo. Ang sa akin kasi pinaka-importante kasi sa isang building is yung fire escape, yung secondary exit na may lalabasan ng mga tao.
April Senadoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
A student in Barangay Laiban in Tanay, Rizal does not let poverty hinder him from getting education despite walking for 3 hours and crossing 8 streams just to get to school. Mirasol Abugadil will tell us why.
Ezekiel wakes up early every day to prepare for school. His mother, Marilu, shared that he does not wear uniform on his way to Barangay Laiban National High School but instead carries it in his bag because he needs to cross streams and hills. On most days, their family has no food on the dining table, so Ezekiel leaves home with an empty stomach.
Kung mayroong mayahandang pagkain, meron akong maipapakain sa kanila. Pero kung wala, kaya yun, nakasanayan na rin nila kapilang. Kung may halagang 10 piso, may tinapay sila.
But this lot doesn't stop Ezekiel, the third in 7 siblings, from attending school because for him, education is valuable. He walks down a rocky and steep path for 3 hours daily and traverses 8 streams to get to school.
Ingat kayo sa daan. Kung mayroong mga taong hindi ninyo kilala, umiwas kayo agad. Yun lang po ang bilig ko lagi sa kanila. Sa kayo, yung pananalak ngayon bago umalis ng bahay.
Ezekiel takes his bat in the last stream and puts on his school uniform there.
Wala naman po, hindi naman po mahirap. Sanay na po kasi.
Teachers in Barangay Laiban National High School have their own share of determination for the education of their beloved students.
Masigasig yung advisor kapag ka medyo nakikita niya na ilang araw ng absent, 2 days, 3 days, nag-home visit na po kaagad. So nakikita po ng bata yung concern ng mga teacher.
15-year-old Ezekiel hopes to become an engineer one day.
Kasi po pag nakapagtapos po ako, hanap po ako ng trabaho. Tapos pag nakaano po ako, yung kapatid ko naman po pag-aaralin ko.
Makita ko man lang na maalwan yung kanilang pamumuhay. Hindi katulad nitong kinamulatan nilang buhay.
Ezekiel and his family story is proof that poverty is not a hindrance in getting education and fulfilling one's dreams. Mirasol Abogadil, UNTV, News and Rescue.
Some senators are still puzzled with the issue of Senator Cynthia Villar's Senate presidency bid. Meanwhile, the ruling party Partido Demokratiko Pilipino Lakas ng Bayan clarifies there are no problems with their party mates, especially with the neophyte senators. Nel Maribohok will tell us why.
The Senate majority blocs support for the retention of Senator Vicente Soto the third Senate presidency remains, but Senator Panfilo Lacson is puzzled why Senator Cynthia Villar didn't sign the resolution that backs Senator Soto as the leader in the upper house of Congress.
But that's out of the question as far as the resolution is concerned. Kasi ang ano doon is, naniniwala ka ba sa leadership ng Senate President? Hindi naman pag-uusapan doon yung chairmanship eh. And as I said kanina, wala naman sa kamay ng Senate President kung sino yung mga Senate, yung mga chairpersons ng committees.
Senator Sherwin Gatchalian has the same sentiments, saying his support for Senator Soto is unchanged.
It's not very clear kung ano ang kanyang intentions. But one thing for sure, no, since NPC ako, I will be supporting the Senate President, the incoming Senate President, si Senator Tito Soto.
Senator Cynthia Villar has earlier said she is ready to sign the resolution after the issues with her party mates are resolved. The lady senator said incoming Senators Amy Marcos and Pia Cayetano are in coordination with Senator Soto.
They're talking to Senator Soto.
Ma'am, because of that, pipirmahan niyo na po ba? Or...
Ito sa akin, ma'am. Sinunan nila yun. Kasi pangako ko yun sa kanila.
Meanwhile, Senate Majority Leader Juan Miguel Zubiri said as of now they have no problems with Senators-elect Bongo and Ronald Bato de la Rosa who are content with their prospect committees. However, there are issues with the other incoming senators that must be resolved.
So we're just trying to find a happy solution as well for Senator Francis Tolentino, Senator Amy Marcos, and Senator Pia Cayetano.
Senator Zubiri also said he understands Senator Villar's position.
Usually, ginagamit yan as leverage, tumatakbo o tinutulak na ipatakbo para makakuha ng magandang memberships.
Meanwhile, PDP Laban President Senator Coco Pimentel insists there are no problems with his party members.
So ang masasabi ko na lang, she's also the leader of our own party. So mind your own party. So fix your own party. Alam ko naman yun that we have to fix our own party.
Senator-elect Go, for his part, has expressed his trust with the leadership skills of Senators Soto and Villar. But for now, he said, they are not talking about the change of leadership in the Senate.
Veterano na po sila na mambabatas, senador, si Senator Soto, si Senator Villar. Wala po akong problema sa kanilang dalawa.
The supermajority bloc is scheduled to meet tomorrow to tackle and resolve several issues like the chairmanship of some big committees in the Senate. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
The Court of Appeals has affirmed the decision of the Office of the Ombudsman in 2017 dismissing former Makati Mayor Junjun Binay over the irregularities in the contracts for the construction of the 1 billion pesos Makati Science High School building. The Ombudsman found Binay guilty of serious dishonesty, grave misconduct, and conduct prejudicial to the interest of the service. The appellate court also agrees that Binay should be barred perpetually from holding any government post. The Commission on Elections say they will accept submissions of statement of contributions and expenditures on June 5, a holiday. Meanwhile, the poll body has yet to decide on whether to use the voter registration verification system in the 2022 elections in the country. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
It's a regular holiday tomorrow throughout the country as declared by President Rodrigo Duterte. But the Commission on Elections or COMELEC said their office is open on June 5 for the submission of the Statement of Contributions and Expenditures or SOSE by the candidates in the May 2019 elections, winners and losers both. The document will be a basis on whether a candidate overspent for his campaign. If a candidate exceeded the allowable amount of expenditures, he may be disqualified. But the poll body clarified today the candidates may not include in the SOSE their advertisements of expressing their gratitude for their victories.
Tapos na kasi yung period for monitoring. Yung period for monitoring, I think, goes all the way up to election day only.
But a candidate's SOSE must include his expenditures for online ads. Under Republic Act 7166 or the Synchronized National and Local Elections and for electoral reforms, all personalities who had filed their certificate of candidacy must submit their SOSE to the poll body within 30 days after the day of the elections or in this case until June 13. On another note, the poll body has yet to decide if the voter registration verification system will be used in the next elections.
The decision point there is to buy or not buy. Buy or not buy into the system. We are looking to see if this system is something that we can use for 2022.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The technical working group assigned to investigate irregularities in the 2016 elections reports the result of their probe. Meanwhile, the proposal on using hybrid elections may be pursued in the 18th Congress. Nel Maribuhok will tell us why.
The technical working group designated by the Congressional Oversight Committee on the Automated Elections to investigate the allegations of Senate President Vicente Soto III on irregularities in the 2016 elections presented today the result of their probe. Jeff D., an IT expert and a member of the technical working group, has proved there had been early transmissions from May 3 to 9 at 3 p.m.
We are unanimous in stating that there really is, as confirmed by the logs submitted to us, at least 16 early transmission attempts from BCM logs submitted by COMELEC. However, the TWG cannot conclude if these actually altered election results.
But the Commission on Elections refuted the technical working group's statement.
But I think the important thing here is this slide, which shows that the transmissions made due to procedural error were not received by the CCS.
Even the issues on the queue servers and the alleged intervention of a foreign entity in the vote transmission process has not been proved to affect the results of the elections. Meanwhile, following the recent order of President Rodrigo Duterte to replace Smartmatic as the election system technical service provider, the Information and Communications Technology Department has reported they aim to give their recommendation on the matter.
We'll have an options presented to COMELEC, to this committee, and to the people of the Philippines as a whole, maybe as early as before the end of this month.
And as the 18th Congress is about to open, Senator Coco Pimentel plans on pursuing the use of a hybrid election system.
Kung hybrid tayo na may manual counting sa presinto, we need to amend the law. Pag automated pa rin tayo, we just want to change the supplier or the contractor, we do not need to amend the law.
Senator Panfilo Lacson has signified his preference to lead the Committee on Electoral Reforms in the next Congress. He said he also plans on focusing on the issue with Smartmatic as the service provider of the automated elections.
Merong consensus na nabubuo na gusto namin i-amend para maging hybrid. At least precinct level, manual, and then transmission, electronic.
Nal Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Congressmen seeking to be the next House Speaker met with the party list coalition to ask for its support, but the coalition lay out their conditions and qualifications. Grace Casin tells us why.
Among the lawmakers who seek the House Speaker post are Marinduque Representative Lord Alan Velasco, Leyte Congressman-elect Martin Romualdez, Taguig Congressman-elect Alan Peter Cayetano, Davao del Norte Representative Pantaleon Alvarez, and Pampanga Representative Don Gonzales, who announced today his willingness to get the position. They are all asking for the party list coalition's support since it's the second largest group in the lower house with 54 members. But the coalition said they will support only the one whom President Rodrigo Duterte endorses. However, if the president doesn't choose any of those vying for the post, the coalition will consider the endorsement of Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio. The coalition also wants the next Speaker of the House to give them the chairmanship of at least 20% of all the committees in the 18th Congress.
If you don't give the 20% minimum, then you are not advocating the 30 million constituencies of all the party lists. So most probably we will not be an advocate of whoever that speaker is. It is 20% or nothing.
The party list coalition meanwhile denies the issue of bribery to get the votes of the congressmen, as it is an insult to the institution. There are 3 PDP Laban members vying for the post, namely Velasco, Cayetano, and Gonzales.
Kung may pagkakataon makausap ko ang Pangulo, isa lang po pakiusap ko sa Pangulo. Mr. President, kung pwede po, hindi ko po pinapakiusap ang sarili ko maging speaker. Ang pinapakiusap ko po, ang dapat maging speaker po ay taga-PDP Laban.
Minority Leader Danilo Suarez today said Romualdez is leading the race and has 150 supporters in the lower house. House Speaker Gloria Arroyo, for her part, has refused to support any of them. A candidate needs 152 votes to win the House speakership. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
An all-Filipino dragon boat team is making a splash in Hong Kong as the team prepares for another dragon boat race. Kath Dumaraos will tell us why.
Are you ready? Attention! Go!
Filipino women are paddling for gold in this year's dragon boat races in Hong Kong, with one thing separating them from the competition. They are all domestic helpers, often taken for granted in the rich Chinese-ruled city, who no longer want to feel left out. To the beat of a drum, the 29 members of the Filipino Dynamis train or compete every Sunday, their only day off each week, in the paddling ritual that has roots dating back more than 2,000 years.
I want to integrate
our, the Filipino helper community, or all represent the domestic helper as part of Hong Kong, part of the community, and we don't want to feel being, excluded. When we're racing, there's no employer, there's no helper. Everyone just, kind of equal.
Hong Kong's more than 300,000 domestic workers come mostly from the Philippines and Indonesia, and many are the main breadwinners for their families back home. Dynamo's teammate Geraldine Inabiohan, who moved to Hong Kong in 2012 to pay for her siblings' education in the Philippines, said the group wanted to encourage women to push the boundaries. She credits her employer for encouraging her to try different sports 2 years ago, and now her room is adorned with photos of the team.
I like it because it's fun, and you meet new people and new family. Like in the Dragon Boat, you're like a family, so you treat each other nice, and they make you laugh, and it's like a stress-free sports.
We made history. We give our best. We do our best. We give our 100% power. We show them are strong. We are strong, even though we are just helper training once a week, but we give our best.
Hong Kong will hold annual Dragon Boat races on June 7. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue.
UNTV News anchor William Theo receives a recognition from the World Class Philippines Council this year. Gladys Tuwabi will tell us why.
The World Class Philippines Council held its World Class Philippines Awards 2019 on June 1 in Cebu City to recognize Filipino individuals, groups, and companies who have shown exemplary performance in various industries in and out of the country. Among this year's awardees is UNTV News anchor William Theo, recognized as World Class Filipino in the field of news and public service broadcasting.
Every recognition is, of course, a humbling experience. Not so much because it's an achievement, more of because at least you know that you are in the step to the right direction always. And we always give God the glory. And
we are very fortunate to have UNTV as our partner here tonight.
William said he is thankful for what he has learned from the station.
I'd like to thank, of course, my UNTV News and Rescue family all of the years for honing me well through the leadership of Kuya Daniel Razon, and also, of course, Brother Eli Soriano, na mula nung nag-umpisa ako sa kanila, sa inyo, ay para bang natuto ako medyo as a writer, as a reporter, as an anchor, and more importantly, as a trained rescuer. Because yung advocacy ni Kuya Daniel na tulong muna bago balita is, I think, one of the most noble, because he always emphasizes that it's important to save the life.
The award-giving body recognizes the achievements of organizations and individuals in their journey towards world-class excellence. Gladys Tuwabi, UNTV News and Rescue, Cebu.
President Rodrigo Duterte felt insulted when his speech was cut short during the Nikkei conference in Tokyo, Japan. But Malacanang says this incident does not affect the diplomatic relations between the Philippines and Japan. Rosalie Cos tells us why.
President Rodrigo Duterte is known for his long-winded public speeches. Last Friday, the chief executive was not able to stop himself from deviating from his prepared speech during an important Global 25th Nikkei conference in Tokyo, Japan. Because of this, there were 2 instances when he was approached by someone at the podium, showed him a note, and reminded him about his speaking time.
Let me just divert this is a prepared speech. Again, I cut my prepared speech. Cocaine belongs to the rich. I said that I have 5 minutes. Who's the next crowd waiting? Because if they are not as beautiful as you, I'd rather...
According to presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo, the president did feel insulted but he did not take it seriously and instead has made fun of it.
I have 3 more pages to read. I do not... Well, I'll just... Just give me your cell phone and I will just continue with our talk tonight. I'll call every one of you. Really, let's talk that about you go there. And please conclude speech. Ladies and gentlemen, we love Japan. You know, I'm sorry, it's the Prime Minister was waiting for me. So you're not even the second or the third. I leave you with just a smile. Arigato.
Well, he did feel insulted. He made fun of it, if you notice. He made light of it.
Secretary Panelo also agrees with Foreign Affairs Secretary Teddy Locsin's statement that showing President Duterte a note to cut his speech short was an act of rudeness on the part of the Nikkei organizers. According to Secretary Locsin, this is never done at United Nations conferences to heads of state. However, Panelo admitted the president was also reminded by the presidential protocol during the event since he was also scheduled to meet with Japanese Prime Minister Abe Shinzo after the Nikkei conference.
Rude yun kasi you don't stop a president from delivering a speech ahead of state. But as far as the protocol is concerned, we have to remind the president na meron pa siyang schedule na iba.
According to Japanese Professor Abe Masashi, it is not only the Japanese trains that are punctual in Japan, but also people themselves. The Japanese are anxious about being late for their appointment, and in general, they are 10 to 15 minutes earlier for a scheduled event. Nonetheless, the palace said this instance will not affect the diplomatic relations between the Philippines and Japan. This is also not a reason for the president not to accept future invitation by Nikkei. Meanwhile, the Japanese embassy in the Philippines refuses to give their statement on the issue since the organizer Nikkei is a private organization. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
Meanwhile, the Supreme Court is set to hear in oral arguments this June 25th the petition urging the government to protect the West Philippine Sea from further environmental degradation. The writ of kalikasan petition was filed by the Integrated Bar of the Philippines and fisher folks from Palawan and Zambales aiming to stop the illegal activities of Chinese vessels in the area. Named respondents in the petition were the Department of Agriculture, DENR, DOJ, BFAR, Philippine Navy, Coast Guard, and the PNP Maritime Group. The Supreme Court has previously issued writ of kalikasan for the protection of Panatag Shoal, Ayungin Shoal, and the Mischief Reef. And for the news abroad, here's Kath Dumaraos live from Thailand. Good evening, Kath.
Good evening, William. U.S. President Donald Trump will plunge into Britain's Brexit crisis and is likely to demand that Prime Minister Theresa May's successor ban China's Huawei from 5G networks as thousands of protesters mock the U.S. president across London. Jovic Burmas will tell us why.
Feted by Queen Elizabeth and heir Prince Charles on the first day of his state visit to Britain, U.S. President Trump turns to politics on Tuesday with talks in Downing Street and a dinner that include leaders of Brexit. Trump brings demands for the United States' closest ally in Europe, including calls by his envoys for a tougher British stance towards telecom's giant Huawei Technologies Company Limited. At a lavish banquet in Buckingham Palace, Trump praised the Queen as a great woman and said the United States and United Kingdom shared an enduring alliance.
as we honor our shared victory and heritage. We affirm the common values that will unite us long into the future: freedom, sovereignty, self-determination, the rule of law, and reverence for the rights given to us by Almighty God.
The state visit promised by May back in January 2017, when she became the first foreign leader to meet him after he took office, is cast as a chance to celebrate Britain's special relationship with the United States, boost trade links, and reaffirm security cooperation. Trump also called for arch-Brexiteer Nigel Farage, a scourge of May's ruling Conservative Party, to conduct talks with the EU. In central London, tens of thousands of protesters are expected to take part in a carnival of resistance to voice their opposition to the president. Among those taking part will be environmental activists, anti-racism campaigners, and women's rights protesters. Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn is due to address protesters at the London rally. While some Britons protest, May and Trump will hold a business breakfast at St. James's Palace with U.S. firms such as Lockheed Martin Corporation, J.P. Morgan Chase & Company, Goldman Sachs Group Incorporated, construction company Bechtel and cybersecurity, and data analytics firm Splunk Incorporated. Joe Vic Bermas, UNTV News and Rescue, London, United Kingdom.
And those are the news from the other parts of the globe. Back to you, William.
Thank you very much, Kath Dumaraos, reporting live from Bangkok, Thailand. Technology giant Apple announced new privacy measures as its annual developer conference in San Jose, but said it would retire its iTunes software. Mirasol Abogadil will tell us why.
Apple Inc. on Monday launched a Sign In with Apple function to rival Facebook and Google Web login accounts, drawing a contrast with rivals by stressing protection of users' information. Apple will also tighten controls on location tracking when users sign in with their Google or Facebook Inc. profiles to third-party apps. The apps often share valuable data with Google and Facebook, a practice that Apple is looking to stop. Apple said it created a system to let users generate a random, unique email to use with each app so that users do not have to reveal their real email address.
There's a lot of worries that people have that people's data is being taken by these services and used in a lot of ways that they don't particularly care about. So I think it's great that Apple's taking this step because it gives people a new way to provide a simple single sign-in for a whole bunch of different services.
The company, meanwhile, retired the iTunes app for the Mac. Originally introduced in 2001 by Apple co-founder Steve Jobs as a way to load songs onto the then-new iPod, iTunes becomes sprawling over the years, letting users manage music and movies, as well as handle backups and updates to iPhones and iPads. Apple said it will replace iTunes with standalone apps for music, video content, and podcasts.
I think it's sign of the times, right? I mean, the reality is how many people have been frustrated with iTunes from an experience, saying like, why is my movies and my media and my all in these other places when you use it on your iPhone? We don't use iTunes, right? You use something else. And so I think that there's part of that that's just modernizing what's happening in the smartphone world and bringing that right to the desktop platform.
Apple delivered the announcements to app developers who descended on San Jose, California for the annual developer conference. Apple's App Store is a key driver of the iPhone maker services segment, which brought in $37.1 billion in revenue last year. Apple takes a cut of sales from apps sold through the store, though that practice is under scrutiny in several legal proceedings. Investors are looking to Apple's services business to power revenue and profits as iPhone sales decline. Revenue from the company's signature device had its biggest year-over-year drop in Apple's most recent quarter. Meanwhile, Apple announced an update of the Mac Pro, a $6,000 and up high-powered machine intended for professional users, such as movie editors, with pricey add-ons such as a $1,000 monitor stand. Apple shares were down 1.5% toward the end of the live-streamed developers conference. Mirasol Abugadir, UNTV, News and Rescue.
Warren Buffett once called Bitcoin probably rat poison squared. He'll now have to dine with one of the cryptocurrency's biggest fans. Cryptocurrency pioneer Justin Sun revealed on Monday that he bid the record $4.57 million at a charity auction to have lunch with Buffett, the billionaire chairman of Berkshire Hathaway Incorporated. Sun, who has a master's degree from the University of Pennsylvania, launched Tron or TRX token in 2017 and raised about $70 million in an initial coin offering. He bought San Francisco-based BitCurrent for $120 million in cash last year. In Twitter posts, Sun said he plans to invite industry leaders from the blockchain community to dine with Buffett, who he called a titan of investment. I hope this benefits everyone. True love is not only for the lovey-doveys, but it is also the love of a mother towards her child. Watch a parent from Caloocan City carry her daughter up to her classroom one day of one school year, 2019 to 2020, as Nina Aramillo reports.
We witnessed various scenarios in school campuses on the first day of school on Monday. Some pupils outburst, scared of being left alone in the school by their parents, while there were also those who came prepared, all geared up to face what's ahead for them students. But in Cecilio Apostol Elementary School in Caloocan City, there's a different story. This is Enesita carrying her daughter Sheena May up to her classroom on an upper floor of the school building. As Enesita faces 202 more school days this year, she is up for the challenge and sacrifice for her beloved daughter.
Kasi ako ng maaga, naganda ng almusal ko. Mula 2nd Avenue hanggang 7th Avenue. Nag-i-stroller lang po kami kasi. Ngayon po, medyo nag-ipon po talaga ako para makadili ko ng side shuttle. Sira-sira po. Umalaga po na may kamasakyan po anak ko papunta po sa eskwelahan nito. Kasi 5 taon din po akong naglalakad.
Enesita's husband passed away in March, so she's left raising her daughter on her own.
Sikap po ako para po sa anak ko. Pagkatapos po dito, magbubukas po ako ng tindahan ko sa palengke. Ako po nagtitinda ng halaman. Mga cactus, kung ano po mga halaman, para po sa mga kailangan namin po araw-araw.
Sheena May, with her special condition, promises to study hard and later on graduate for her and her mother's sake. The same is Enesita's dream for her 14-year-old girl.
Gusto ko po siyang makatapos ng pag-aaral sa kabila po ng kanyang kapansanan dahil mabait na bata po siya, masipag. Gusto niya rin po mag-aaral. Ano lang pong ipamana ko sa kanya kasi wala naman po akong yaman.
Simple as it is, and has been, Enesita wants her and her daughter's story to be an inspiration to others.
Tsaga lang po. Tsaga po tayo para sa kinabukasan po ng ating mga anak sa kabila na may kapansanan sila. Tsaga, sikap para mapag-aral po natin yung ating mga anak.
Morning till nighttime, a mother worries and cares about her child. So Sheena May strives hard to continue studying and looks forward to finishing it for her and her mother's bright future. Nina Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue.
The Wishcovery Season 2, the singer and the song finalists gather once again in another grand event tonight. Asher Kadapan Jr. is at the Big Dome to tell us why live. Yes, Asher, good evening. What's going on at the Big Dome?
Yes, Will, tonight is a wish-granted moment for the Wishcoveries of the Wishcovery Season 2. The singer
at the Smart Metropolitan. About 3 months later, their grand finals last February, the Wishcoveries again faced an overwhelming crowd as they performed the singles included in their album. Leading them is the Wish Covery Season 2 Grand Champion Rhea Basco, as she dubbed out her song Hingang Malalim, originally composed by their Wish Cover composer
Junji Marcelo. Fans are surely awaiting to hear the contagious song Ang Sakit Sakit Naman by Wish Covery Season 2 Grand Finalist Ana Marie Ginsisana of Camp Veni Saturno. Alongside the Wish Covery album launch, this grand event also grants the wishes of wishers as they get to have awesome musical treats from special performers. The event will turn back time as they hear signature hits by seasoned Wish Cover composers Junji Marcelo, Boy Christopher Ramos, Moy Ortiz, Noel Cabangon, Odette Quesada, Rani Raimundo, Top Suzara, and Veni Saturno. Wishers will also be mesmerized by guest acts, which include the vocal trio Brads for the opening performance, Filipina belter Katrina Velarde, Asia's romantic balladeer Christian Bautista, and more. Rock outfit plethora singer-songwriter Aisel Santos and Philippines Prince of Ballad Gerald Santos also joined the stellar roster of guest performers in tonight's shows. And that's the latest here in Araneta Coliseum. Back to you, Will.
Thank you very much, Asher Kadapan Jr., reporting live from the Araneta Coliseum. And those are the reasons behind the news this June 4, 2019. On behalf of Alex Baltazar and Angelo Castro III, I am William Theo, and before we close, we will recap with today's significant sound bites. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.
So dahil dumami muli ang RG concentrations, nagkaroon ng panibagong pagbabara sa mga filter media namin sa treatment plants. So this has forced us to reduce production dahil kailangan na natin ng mas frequent na cleaning ng filters and at the same time intensified chemical dosages para ma-address yung pagdami ng algae sa Laguna Lake.
Nino-notify muna natin sila, itong mga concerned manufacturers, para pwede na silang mag-voluntary pull out kanilang produkto. Pagkatapos noon, papa-explain natin sa kanila kung ano nangyari at bakit sila gumagamit ng synthetic acetic acid.
Rude yun kasi you don't stop a president from delivering a speech ahead of state. But as far as the protocol is concerned, we have to remind the president na meron ba siyang schedule na iba.
But that's out of the question as far as the resolution is concerned. Kasi ang ano doon is, naniniwala ka ba sa leadership ng Senate President? Hindi naman pag-uusapan doon yung chairmanship eh. And as I said kanina, wala naman sa kamay ng Senate President kung sino yung mga Senate, yung mga chairpersons ng committee.
Every recognition is, of course, a humbling experience. Not so much because it's an achievement, more of because at least you know that you are in the step to the right direction always. And we always give God the glory and